to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blasdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week, we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of the Box Radio. I am your host, Christine Blasdale, and I have with me today a very special person in my life, dear friend, medical intuitive master channel, Abigail Noel, and we're going to be talking today about something that's been coming up repeatedly, and I've just been sort of getting this download about we need to talk about. Of course, we're going into spring cleaning, and what I was getting, Abby, was something to do with our soul spring clean or something, basically like getting rid of the things that no longer serve us. Not only do we clean out our closets and spruce up our house, and some people do major moves, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Right.
But it's a really important time, or it seems like it's a time of change and sloughing off the old stuff. And I said I had to get you on this program today to talk about that. First of all, hello, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you? I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me on again. I love you. So namaste. And
namaste.
Thanks for the love. I'm sending it back. You already know Bosdale. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. You're
Bosdale.
Amazing. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
And it's so fun because I'm moving your direction. So not that I'll see you anymore because you're so busy. We'll be flying in two separate ways. But I'm moving from Memphis to California and packing right now. So this is yay. Going back home.
To Cali. You're going back to Cali.
Going back to Cali. Which is my home state. So it's a return. And of course, with this kind of move, because I've been in Memphis for 11 years, it's sad and really grateful and happy all at the same time. And I know I'll be back in Memphis, on a later date to visit and in a different way with a different energy. So that's going to be great. My time here is done. But getting to this, I love it because when we're talking about spring cleaning, because it's spring, and that we tend to focus on our house and getting the pool ready and, getting new, patio chair covers or whatever it is that we do. We clean the house, we clean out the closets. The most important thing we do, that anyone would ever choose to do, would be to do the emotional work. Get out any worry, anxiety, shame, blame, resentment, or guilt. That way the fear and the anger will take care of itself. And what I love is when we talk about spring cleaning, man, this is the year of the fire rooster. And basically what that means is, well, first of all, the ability to connect to your guides and to God and receive your divine guidance has never been, there's never been a more opportune time in history ever, in the illusion of time. And so that's the first thing. And what that's calling for, though, is it's calling for a lot of truth. So this year, it's not just really about spring cleaning. It's not even a garage sale. Like, I would highly recommend everyone have an estate sale. Like, literally sell everything that's not serving, just toss it. And what that does every time we let go of any energy, relationship, or habit, way of thinking that is limiting, this is the year, because the energy this year is going to be really powerful to push people forward to their destinies, to amazing new lives and new choices and new opportunities, new relationships, if they choose to let go of the old. And not all the old. We want to keep the stuff that's still serving, but the stuff that doesn't serve. And any relationship that is attached to a frustration, find out where you're not speaking your truth. That's first and foremost. Be very bold with your truth this year. And as long as your intention is not to manipulate or harm, then you haven't done a darn thing wrong. If they get mad, they weren't ready for the year of the fire rooster, I guess.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. And and speaking your truth and all of that, but coming from a place of love still, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. But sometimes we forget love is bold. Love is often loud. Love is
I love that. Love is loud.
love is loud. you know, love is a hip hop dance party. Sometimes, it's a rave. It's whatever you want it to be. It's a football game. Woo! Those are loud. Love is loud. Loud is fun sometimes. And this is the year to be loud. But when I say loud, it doesn't mean you have to be physically loud. Don't go get a bullhorn. Don't yell at people. Don't play your music. Don't be that guy that plays the music in your car for everyone else, even with your windows up at the light. Not that kind of loud. Don't be obnoxious. Be loud, though, about expressing yourself. Be loud about embracing change. Be loud about making change. Be loud about, it's like this is the year to moonwalk through life. Just walk right over the fire. That's what you want to do, because this is the kind of energy we're going to have for the next, we've got 10, what are we? We're March. Okay, we got 9 months, guys, 9. Everyone, listeners, look for 9s and 44s to validate. And of course, roosters and anything on fire. and this is about revving up that second chakra and opening the heart. So this is all about second to the fourth chakras, and that's the colors there. Wow, when a second chakra, that's all about your passion and art in life. Really, being able to pull joy from any situation. And how do you do that? Find the joke, find the comedy. That's the second chakra. It's all about laughter, play, passion, art. And that looks like a sunset. It's pink, and it's beautiful orange. It's got some sky blue, which is speaking truth. And then the heart chakra is beautiful. That's when that sucker is pink and green, watermelon tourmaline. And so really look for those colors, you guys. Start your dialogue, plug in. What that does is it helps you to stay present and focus on every day. Focus on a different limited belief. Maybe you hate your job. Great. I'll tell you this. If you're willing to make a change and be bold, the universe will give you a new job that raises your vibration. Anything that will raise our vibration, the universe will literally pave a way for you to get there if you believe and you know it's so.
I love that. And I love the idea too of saying of constant, and I repeat this to myself as much as possible and send it out to the universe, that whatever is of the highest good for all, whatever is for the highest good for all, let that come and let that be manifested. And and what's up with the synchronicities? Because I mean, especially like times, the 222, the 444, 333, lots of numbers that I'm seeing wherever I go, whatever I'm doing. What is up with that? What happened? Or do you have any? What's your hit on that you think?
Well, and I've been working with the dialogue for the last 8 years. That I always say, back when country wasn't cool, and I had people laughing, like they'd laugh. Oh yeah, red and yellow cars, Abigail. She's crazy. I'd say, no, I'm telling you, it's speaking to me. And when I started noticing, what happened was I've speaking to spirits. So I have a conversation in my head going on all day long. Everyone can do this. We're all psychic, guys. You just have to learn to trust. And this is a great way to start seeing God, whatever that definition is for you, God, love, truth, working as an active participant and presence in your life. Also, in every spiritual text on the planet talks about staying in the present moment. Guys, if we would just focus on the stuff that everybody agrees on, so like take all the religions and spiritual teachings and just make a list of the stuff that's the same, you could spend your life focusing on that. That would be great. That would be great. And you would get like, oh my God, you'd be moonwalking through your evolution and you'd be living your destiny, because it's all about being brave and bold. So staying in the present moment is spoken about in every religious text. That is crucial. How do you do that? Well, awesome. You start looking, when you start noticing these coincidences, maybe every time you look at the clock, all week long, it was 222 or it's 333 is one of these numbers. Those numbers all have meanings. And I do teach numbers classes on a regular basis, about 6 times a year. And they're awesome. It's an online webinar, and it's amazing. And it also teaches how to read them, put them in sentences, and how to notice them. But it's not just the numbers, it's colors, symbols. When you start seeing this, like you might notice one day that, oh my God, I'm seeing like bright green cars everywhere. This is weird. Like maybe you've seen whatever that is. You get to your third one and you notice, then you might look down and notice that you might actually look over at that point. This is what I do. Let me say it this way. Then what I do is I say, okay, what's bright green mean? It's a confident heart. It's also the color for 44. 44 is what's called the stamp of heaven. That's sacred geometry. So the color, see, it's an open heart, because when you have an open heart, you're brave and you're bold. You'll be living your destiny, and you will have abundant love in your life. They all tie together. So with that said, if I see that and I start seeing the green, I go, okay, confident heart. That means spirit wants me to focus on a confident heart. And then what I do is I say, if that's accurate, because there's no right or wrong. So I say, team, I say, Daddy, I said, if that's, this is crazy. My kitchen clock is 2:20 right now. 2:20. 2:20. I just walked in here and looked and went, it's 2:20. So 22 is building a solid foundation in God, love, and truth.
Wow. Is that what 22 is? Because that's that's my
yes.
number that is just, I have a tattoo, number 22,
Yes.
but that's because all throughout my life, it's just come up over and over and over again. And so say it again. What is 22?
22 is building a solid foundation for your life in God, love, and truth, which then means you are now ready to step into what's called a 6-9 relationship. And this has a lot to do with what's a sacred partnership, sacred marriage, Isis and Osiris, and a lot deeper than that. But this is about the twin hearts as well. And and also for some people, it is more about falling in love with their passion. Maybe they have something absolutely amazing. I mean, like an amazing life that they've set out on their own. But for most of us these days, many souls, 5 and 7 time ascenders who are here on the planet are here to make a return connection to a sacred partner. So this also plays into a lot of that. So the 222 again is building that solid foundation, which takes you to the 6-9. So that's when you have returned, which is made the complete return to self-love. Then at that point, they'll bring you in with this sacred partner, and that puts you in what's called a 6-9 relationship, which a lot of people laugh about the number 69.
I was trying to be adult and trying to be mature, but when you said the 6-9 relationship, I was like, oh.
Don't be an adult, be a kid.
Okay, yeah, 69.
You know, and see what it is because even if it's funny, there's sometimes, we put judgment on that because we're like, 6-9, like that.
Like I'm 13.
Right? Yeah. Well, and 13 is one of the most powerful numbers. If you see 11 and 13 together, man, that's amazing. That's mom and dad. But here's what's funny. I was born in 1969. I live on my home out in California is on Highway 96. and the phone number is 496. So there you go at the beginning. And so what's funny about that is he sort of explains to me it also looks like the yin and the yang symbol because this is all about two people, balanced partners coming together, masculine, feminine, in love and harmony. And knowing both of these people, knowing they were brought together by a divine plan, literally by the forces of the universe and God, love, truth. They will both know this. They're powerful partnerships, and they're all coming together right now. And it's just, when I say a lot of this is happening for a lot of people around the planet.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
And the twin heart, what I keep getting. What I keep getting too, Abby, is this, when you say it's the union of the masculine and feminine, it doesn't mean, folks, too, it doesn't mean it's the union of a man and a woman. No. It can be a man and a man. It can be a woman and a woman. It can be a man and a woman. But it's been clubbed over my head so many times, especially recently. It's been really brought to my attention, Abby, that the real... it's not growth. The embracing your own masculine and feminine side, the divine masculine and the divine feminine that we all basically have, but embracing it. Note it first, recognizing it. Okay, that's number one, and number two, embracing it and nurturing it and loving it. Those two sides of us. That's the whole game. Isn't it?
Well, and that's how you attract this partner to your life. It doesn't happen. It will not happen before.
Yeah.
So you've got to, you literally, we set it up. It's all science. I always tell people it's not personal. It's all science. When you vibrate like where you said you would go based on what your light body, so that has to do with a lot of things, your past lives, so many things, we won't even get into that today, but you know, whatever your light body can handle, you set certain goals for yourself. It's no different than going through college. It's really kind of cool. It's shown to me that way a lot, where you take the classes that are required and you take as many as you know you can handle. And some of us come down here and we to be badasses and we fall down a lot, but that's okay. That's all right. Once you, God always catches you up. If you want, you know, if you don't worry about it, we truly are at the right place at the right time. The universe responds perfectly to every situation. What I love about this balance is it takes us full circle right back to where we were. You will not find this balance until you spring clean in your life. We learn who we are through the relationships. Everyone who comes into our life, and the toughest relationships are the ones that teach us the most. So our toughest teachers, they're also the ones that love us the most in heaven. So how do you get to this balance in self? Start taking care of every relationship in your life, and the one within yourself. Look for any worry or anxiety. That's an opportunity to trust the universe. If everything is in proper order and everything that's happening is to be happening, and I understand that's tough. I understand that is a tough pill to swallow. But the only other option is resistance. And science itself and every religious text and spiritual teaching will tell you that resistance is futile.
Word.
So we might as well start accepting that whatever it is, you know, and when I say this, it's not to, but just, you know, to see it, we all go through difficult times, you know, but what we are called to do, and it's beautiful because that's what this is about, is moving into this psychic time when you are balanced in your own nature. And you guys, this is so important. You cannot find balance until you're willing to embrace and explore your extremes. And that is why coming to a place of complete non-judgment for yourself and for others' paths. The only time that we're ever called, and we're not called to judgment, but the only time we're ever called to intervene with anything that someone's doing is if they're causing harm to someone else or themselves. That's it. You know, and sometimes when they're causing harm to themselves, it's not our business either.
Right.
It's between them and someone else. So we've got to look at these relationships in our lives, and through that process of repairing these and letting go of they trying to control other people where it's none of our business, and letting go of people who are trying to control us, and letting go of any idea that we have to care about what somebody else thinks about our choices, our life, what we do. You got to let that go. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but oh my God, you'll be so free. You'll be so free. And when you do that, God brings these people into your life. I've been watching it happen in my life for 10 years. I know. Every time someone goes, he brings in 3 that support and understand me without any fuss or muss. Every time I let go of something that doesn't serve, no matter how, and the more heartbreaking, the more beauty that is brought back in. It's in direct measure.
It seemed that for many of us, and I witnessed it with my friends as well, that in the winter it was sort of the wrapping up or ending, putting to bed, so to speak, the people in our lives that caused great, you know, either great sorrow or stress or turmoil, but it was a real, and even though it was like a breaking down, it was also a way of sort of planting the seeds that now in the spring we're able to, you know, to see the bud. The bud is coming out of the earth from those times. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we just came through, because yes, now we're going to be going through spring cleaning. We're cleaning out our closets. We're kind of straightening up our souls a little bit and getting rid of, sloughing off the things that don't serve us anymore. But let's talk about that whole process of letting go of people or jobs or things in our lives, people in our lives, situations in our lives that were really not so good for us. Because that's also, there's sorrow in that too. I mean, there can be a feeling of a mourning, so to speak. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, absolutely. Anytime, even if we know something's not good for us, this is why habits This goes in, we could lend itself to habits and or addictions. Addictions come in all flavor. It's hard to let go of those too, but we know it's not good for us. It's even harder to let go of personal relationships. And, and oftentimes the shame is now, it's because we have an idea, which is really an illusion, but we have an idea of who that person is and how they fit into our life. But we have a lot of relationships in our lives that we are still hanging on to our own illusion that we've created about that person. It's not even who they are, and we want to keep them anyway.
And it's the expectations. And what is it? Was it Buddha who said the root of all suffering is attachment? And then you can tie that into expectations of another human being, I guess.
100%. I was just going to say, yes, attachment of any kind. And then, yes, emotional attachment would be expectations and a belief in that person's going to serve your life in some way. And that's what a lot of us have, this sort of picture or dream in our head. It's also about letting go of resentments in your life. If you still resent your mom or dad, I mean, that's a great basic place to start. That's like psychology 101 right there. You check in with them. Do you hate your mom? Do you hate your dad? First place you want to go. So it's like they say, Freud and Dr. Spock shouldn't have written those books. They both hated their mother. He's a shrink that hates his mother. It's like, run.
Well, it's also in how you look at it, because be it either a parental figure or a lover or a spouse or something like that. Some people can go through an experience with another human being and say, oh, I hate all men or all women or whatever. That person broke my heart, and they have all that energy, because it's all energy, right? So they have all that energy attached to this person in a negative way, saying, you hurt me, you destroyed me, you did this, you did that. When you flip it like a pancake, as we like to say, as Abby likes to say, when you flip it like a pancake and you realize not the lessons, but when you realize how much growth you had, and you're able to stand up for yourself and say, no, I deserve to be treated better. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to love and to be loved, truly. Then you turn it around and you actually grow and learn so much from that relationship, or that the parental relationship, or a lover, or someone that you've been close to, your heart has been attached to. You can grow in ways that if that didn't happen, you wouldn't have that massive amount of growth.
Oh, 100%. We grow closer to our authentic self and our relationship with God, love and truth. Whatever your definition of God is, it's love and truth. We grow closer in that relationship every time our heart is broken. Science supports that. Science supports that because science knows that the DMT levels in our brain go up at times of trauma, any emotional earthly trauma, birth, and death. That is how we communicate with God. It was designed that way. It's a safety latch. Science now knows that we have an electrical current that goes to the top of our head that speaks to our hypothalamus. And that is where holographic images, which are the little movies, signs and symbols, as well as written words, will come across your imagination screen, your third eye. It's your imagination screen. That's how kids talk to God. And then emotions are sent to that hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus sends the emotions to the limbic system to process. And the limbic system decides how it feels about what it's receiving. And those emotions determine our vibration and our entire reality, what we experience every day. So heaven is always communicating with us. It's about how conscious are we of that connection. But going back to the DMT levels, it's like, wow, yes, when you go through these losses and you go through the dark times, they are the times when you have the biggest opportunity physically, chemically, scientifically in your body to talk to God, if we choose. And grow closer, really grows us closer.
Can you explain to the listeners what DMT, what is that? What is DMT?
DMT is a chemical that's found in everyone's body at different levels. They can actually test now and tell you what what level the DMT is in each individual. It's part of the science that's going to prove the psychic nature that's in all of us. And through this work, through the emotions and through the traumas, the DMT level will stay higher and higher. So we go through the traumas to literally pull us closer and closer to God, because our vibration and our ability to speak to God stays higher after these traumas if we choose. And if we know, if we're taught, most of us don't know this. And if you know it, then you'll see it happen. DMT is, and I, in between time, I always forget and they laugh at me, but it's dimethyltryptophan. And it's a chemical that we all have in different levels. The more trauma you go through, the higher the level, and the more ability to hear and to be psychic. Now, with that said, though, the vibration on the planet is raising now. So that's going to start to come to an end. And what's beautiful is these sacred partners coming together. And no, they are all mixed up. That's what's so beautiful. This is like, Dad says it's not the Rainbow Warriors anymore. He just calls it's like a rainbow joy circus. Just, he wants the planet to just be happy. And so the partners coming together are often lesbian and gay couples, powerful, and then also heterosexual. It's actually tougher, and there's more honor in heaven to come down in a gay partnership. I'm just using the stereotypical word that I use to just kind of encompass the whole rainbow. There's more honor than that in heaven, because it's a high challenge to balance two that are presenting in the third dimension in the same sex, and then have them come together and be able to what a 6-9 partnership means is that both are so balanced in their own masculine feminine that either one can play the ground or what they call the front man. Because you gotta have a 6 and a 9.
So So either one can be fluid in either their masculine energy or their feminine energy, or roll through just like a blend. Like if you poured something in a blender, right? Right.
They can stay home and be super parent, or they can go run the corporation for the day, and they can both flip flop. You want to go in the office, or you want to stay home and change diapers?
Right on. That sounds hot. Right? I like that.
Yeah, no fucking roles. They can do it all.
No roles.
They're like, what do you want? I'll do that. I got that today.
What a change, man! Right, what a change.
Baby.
I just had a flash in my head. What I got was, oh my goodness, what a change from the 50s with Ozzie and Harriet.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God. Well, that was prison, because people were trying to force themselves into square holes. We're round people. We are round and ever changing, and we're here to challenge everything. We know that. So yeah, no more roles. We're going to move into that. And what's going to be amazing is these couples, knowing they came together, knowing that there were things tapping in. People are tapping into the synchronicities and tapping into their psychic every day. I've been watching it get, higher and higher the last 10 years. Now it's just coming in waves. It's just incredible, the amount of people who are waking up to the fact that they're psychic. And it's going to keep going. And these children, so the next 2 generations is going to change the planet. Our planet is going to vibrate almost to heaven. He just said, we're going to move right in to that 546, which is called the total eclipse of the heart. 546 is a heart healing number. And with that said, these children are going to be born knowing they're psychic. Not only that, but these parents, each in their own way, are going to teach that child how to spiritually connect to God and receive this guidance.
Because they're the perfect conduit because they've embraced their masculine and feminine. The child that is growing up will be comfortable as well, and it won't be like the old days where you hid it. You hid this side of it. Well, when you're a child, you really are a blend. I mean, like with me, myself, this is my own personal thing. When I was a little girl growing up in the San Fernando Valley, I never differentiated myself as a girl per se. I was just Christine, this entity known as Christine. And I would go back and forth between, really thinking I was a boy. I really thought I was a boy, but I knew that I was on the outside. I was a girl, but I was okay with either one. Then you get into school, education, indoctrination, Then you have dogma from religion. So you have all these outside entities telling you you must be a girl, you must behave this way, or you're a man or boy, you must behave this way. Don't cry, don't show emotion, be tough. All of those things after year after year after year. No wonder by the time we become the age as an adult or young adult, we form these relationships with people off of these crazy notions of who we are. We don't even know who we are at that point. It's been taught out of us.
Oh, absolutely. We've been programmed, away from our authentic self for sure. I had to laugh because I grew up thinking I was supposed to be a boy. I thought God made a mistake because I scared all the boys. I like boys, but they get scared. And when I was little, and I was taller too, so I was taller first. You know what I mean? And so it was really funny. Anyway, so I just thought that was funny when you were like, I didn't really care. I was like, no, I thought God fucked up. So, hey, I wanted to go back to this too. I love this because we tend to, and I do love deserve. Heaven does use the term deserve, but we've sort of bastardized the word a little bit in its definition and the way that we take it. Not that you did when we were talking about it, but I wanted to go back when we were talking about, when a relationship ends and we start to wake up and see in that relationship that we deserved better than what was offered, right? When we get to that place where we can start to let go and go, you know what, there's got to be something better. I just wanted to say something. I think this is so important. Instead of thinking about that you deserve more, in another person, the major shortcut is to start to be all of those things. Make a list of all of the things that you deserve in that relationship and start really babying yourself. No joke.
Yeah.
And I started doing this, and it was not comfortable at first, but they would call it taking care of little Abby. I'm going to take care of little Abby today. Little Abby wants a bath. And I literally took it's been about 2 months that I spent more time taking care of little Abby than working. And the universe is still supporting me, Christine. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm absolutely witness that if you will use, and it's not just woo, it doesn't have to be religion. God, science is God's, and so use the science. I just kept thinking, okay, I'm not going to lend worry or anxiety. No shame, no blame. I know if something came to me, if that heartbreak came to me, it's because I'm not taking care of myself. There's more I can give myself, and there are amazing things about me that I don't see yet. That's what I know now. Every time I feel betrayed or my heart's broken, there is something amazing I'm not seeing in myself. And so I get kind of greedy. They're telling me to tell you, I'm kind of fierce about this. So once I figure out what it is that I wanted from that situation, relationship, or person, I go get it for myself. And I just know that it's the right thing to do. And no matter what that is, even if I have to take 2 months and take days to sit, or go take a, vacation, or take a lot of baths, or eat a lot of hot fudge sundaes, even though, whatever that is, I harmonize the heck out of him and go, you just really take care of self and take care of the inner child. Don't ask your adult self what you want. He doesn't know.
Oh, that's so important. That's so important. And also the the idea that you're not to find that love outside of yourself. That love that you're seeking is already within you, but to refocus it on you. And it's not a selfish love. It's not like, mwah, mwah, I love myself at all. But it's basically saying, you know what? I am going to give myself, even if you give yourself 10% of what you give another person, it's more than what most people do. Most people don't give themselves that amount of love that they give another human being, their husband, their wife, their children, etc. So when you turn it around and you love you really truly love yourself, give yourself love. I equate it to like dating myself, having a romance with myself, taking a look at like who I am as a human being. Hey, you know what, Christine? You're a pretty darn good, person. You're whatever. And even though those scripts are playing in my head, what happens is it changes your vibration. And as an offshoot, as a byproduct, you're at a different energy level, and lo and behold, you're going to be also attracting those people who recognize that, who see that in you.
100%. Yeah, because when you start taking care of yourself, no matter what that is, your confidence starts to go up on its own a little bit, and so your energy is going to change. Yeah. Even if it doesn't feel comfortable at first, even if you've got to, harmonize some emotions. Like sometimes I'm taking care of myself, as I said, I like to go get a hot fudge sundae sometimes, or some junk food. And I'll think, you know what, this is really not what I'd be eating, but you know what, little Abby wants chili cheese fries. So I go get them and I harmonize, and then I have fun. I'll laugh, while I'm eating them, and I just kind of connect and I go, this is hysterical. This is great. I watch and it's just about honoring yourself, and going back to this too. And I mean, there's other things, I can't think of an example right now, except that, here's one. God, I guess it took me 48 years, but just creating boundaries and just saying, I need my alone space, turning off your phone, not responding, not having to be there for every single person all the time. A lot of us get caught up in that as well. It's okay to take 2 days or 3 days and not be available. I mean, let your mom or your significant other know you're not dead, but, let them know you're taking some time off and you need some quiet time. God, silence is one of the most healing things ever. And you have to kind of learn who you are. So, I mean, that'd be a great thing if everyone could commit to taking 48 hours for yourself. Like, don't talk to anybody but you.
Unplug from everything. Unplug from the social media, unplug from your technology. That's that's the one reason why I think I like to go camping. It's not so much that I like to be, I am a person who loves my creature comforts. I do. I love all of those wonderful things and technology that we have. But one of the best things about getting out in nature, if it's going, to the redwoods or camping and some far away, even like a beach camping or something, is that you're away from all of the distractions. We think that we're so connected that we're, that it's empowering us, but also we're distracted from who we are and our connection to whatever you want to, our connection to God, to love, to the universe. And when you're out there and there's no signal and you can't check your Facebook page, all of a sudden you start realizing that, wow, the rocks and the birds are speaking to you. I mean, God is everywhere, but we don't
100%.
We don't see it. We don't see God when we're distracted with technology. And isn't that interesting? I just had a conspiratorial thing in my head pop up there.
Oh yeah, right. I always tell everyone that's the real chip, is this damn telephone. You know what I mean? That's the chip they're going to put in our heads. It's on our head all the time. It's right there. People have attitude. But you know what? What's beautiful too is involving God. That's another thing that I've done. So on the flip side of that, both things are true when you're working with God. Yes, take that time, unplug. I love to camp. Oh my gosh, and roughing it in a tent, in a sleeping bag. Cooking on a fire. I love that. I grew up doing that. And even just getting away and pampering yourself at a spa. Go get a massage. Go, whatever you want to do. Get your tail. Do you pretend you're Cleopatra for the day?
I did that the other day. I did.
Get your nails done.
I did that the other day. It was the most amazing thing. It was a gift from a very special person to me. And I literally, when I was there, pretended, not that I was Cleopatra, I don't know, maybe I was Anthony, but I was I was surrounded just by all this beautiful things, and, plush towels, and you go in the steam room, and there's the lavender infused little cold, with ice towelettes for your face. And I spent probably 5-6 hours there, and it was so important for me because, again, it's turning that love to it's self-love. And then you're able to share that when you come back into society, into the world, and you're like, not only are you rejuvenated, but you've pampered yourself And you don't have to go and spend a lot of money and go to a spa. You can do this even, you could do this
at home.
At home, you can go to the beach. You can, but really, truly pamper yourself and use your imagination.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And do things. This is the other thing that I found was so fun. And know that you're psychic too. Connect to your guides because, like many of us, especially coming up in, the last couple of generations, we got kind of parentized because we came from homes. A lot of us where there was one parent, or if both were there, both were working. So a lot of people were latchkey kids, or came from, divorced families, whatever that is. But a lot of us got parentized. I literally learned over the last 10 years in this process of working as a healer and assisting other people with my guides that I had lost. I didn't have my ability to play. My parents didn't play. It was always very serious. There was always some trauma going on. And we did have a lot of illness in the family, but still when I go back, there was no play. You got to grab play in your life. And so what I started doing, it was kind of crazy, but I used to love to roller skate. So Spirit had me, it was Jay had me write down a list of the things to go back and just remember what were my favorite things when I was a kid? What were my favorite things to eat? What were my favorite things to do? How did I remember liking to play? And I kind of had to think about it, but I remembered I loved to roller skate. And so he said, okay, well, I want you to go roller skating every week. You're going to put your skates on. You're going to go to their skating rink. You're going to roller skate. And I was a little bit scared at first because I hadn't done skates forever. And I just kind of thought, oh my God, the last thing I need to do is like break a leg, or a wrist.
We always go there, don't we? We always go to the most tragic thing.
Yeah, I know, right? And I did. I went there, and he said, oh my God, like whatever. And so I did. I for about a year, at least every other week, I would be down there roller skating. And I'd take my kids, and I had the best time. And they used to crack up because I'd get on the rink and I wouldn't get off the rink. They'd have to come drag me off because they want to, something to drink, or they'd want to play a game. Mom, come on, Mom. But I would just be in this trance, and I would work with my inner child. I would just feel and let my heart go. So crazy things like that. I went and saw roller derby after that, and then I went to a rock concert with my 17-year-old self. So I connected with my 17-year-old. That was a tough year. That was the year my dad died. And so I went, you can do this work with yourself. You can also book a session with someone like me that does this work, as like re-imprinting or inner child work.
That's a wonderful gift to yourself.
Right? Or a healer, or a healer that works with their, intuitive side can get to this stuff as well, because God will direct them. Spirit will, or their guides. But I worked with my 17-year-old self and with my dad. And I took my 17-year-old self to a rock concert during that week because I was doing the work with her. So, really get out of your adult mind, go to your heart. And I love that it takes us back to this, because when you start taking care of yourself instead of looking for any relationship outside of you. Okay, and I learned this even in my professional side. The part of me that would think, oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to be able to get that done. I just a small thing. I thought I was going to have to hire someone to create my website. And so I was going to save towards that, and working as a ministry, that looked like a kind of a daunting thing to save for. And Spirit said, no, you're going to do, you're going to learn to do your own. I don't do computers, but I do now. And now I can make a website. It feels really good. So, and if I had looked outside of myself to do that, anytime that we do, and I'm not saying that we don't, ever, but I'm just saying that even in simple things professionally in your house, if you just start relying on yourself and letting go of the worry and the anxiety, and if you start taking care of yourself and loving yourself more, all of this stuff gets easier. And if you stop relying on other people, what's crazy, and you start using the power that you've got and not worrying about what you do get done or don't get done, all of a sudden the universe is going to send you a whole bunch of help that does serve, simply because you let go of the notion that you couldn't do something or be happy on your own. So the minute you will give in and just do it anyway, even if you're a little grumpy about it, so if there's a relationship where you're working with someone and they're creating a website for you and it's frustrating, then that just means that maybe you should do it yourself and that you really can.
Exactly. Well, I want to go back to something that you said, because we were just talking about, going back to that part when, if you're, the people in your life, if they're not treating you a certain way, And it's not about so much about deserving or saying that you deserve better, but doing that self-love thing. This is so wild because we were talking about self-love, and this just came up. This is a quote. It's a quote from a spiritual poet. I don't know which spiritual poet. I don't know if I have not a clue, but it's so spot on. Listen to this quote: "If you keep avoiding self-love, the universe will keep sending you people who also avoid loving you, hoping you get a little clue."
Yeah, 100%. I love that.
I think it's brilliant.
You get a clue.
Let me repeat that again. Because this is deep. This is deep. If you keep avoiding self-love, the universe will keep sending you people who also avoid loving you, hoping you get a little clue. I love that.
100%. I think, a lot of people struggle with what does self-love look like.
Yes.
And I do understand, because, man, I didn't know. Thank goodness for my guidance. And, man, when I tell people, book a session to get psychic. That's number one, because when you don't know what to do, believe me, if it's to raise your vibration and it's in the best interest of the collective, they will tell you what to do. And a lot of times it's so going back to this self-love, they want me to say this: self-love is silly. Self-love is childlike. Self-love is playful. Self-love is very easy. Self-love has no expectations on self either. Because here's the thing, we try and apply these things. We do our best to apply these spiritual concepts to other people. So we go along, we might watch something, a video, or whatever it is. Okay, we go, okay, I'm going to have more self-love for other people. I'm going to let go of this resentment. And then we get, oftentimes when we do our best to do that, we end up getting more mad or more resentful. We've not given ourselves the same. This is why forgiveness is so important. So letting go of resentment and blame. Important. Oh my gosh, that's so huge. Because what'll happen is you find out that where you're holding on to any resentment, where you're not forgiving someone or a situation in your life, you will find out that you're not forgiving yourself the same. Either that, or you're not fully embracing that situation or that trauma. There's still more of your own power. It's something amazing about you that you're still not able to see. And in gratitude, so through that process of forgiveness, I literally found that out one day. I just was so frustrated because I just wasn't able to get to this last piece of forgiveness. This resentment was just sitting in my stomach, even though I could see how I benefited. And when I asked, I said, why won't I let this go? I literally saw in that instant, and God will show us all this, how I wasn't forgiving myself, how I was being harder on myself. And almost all of us are. Oh, yeah. We're tougher on ourselves. We forget. It's so funny. We get mad at other people for making messes in life. Just basically, we get mad at people for fucking up, whatever that is that we think, right? Based on our judgment. Someone shouldn't be doing, or they've done this, or shouldn't be doing that, or oh my God, they've just made a huge mess, and this could be an emotional mess, financial mess. Maybe you're a hoarder because you've got some emotional issues. So it could be any kind of mess. We get mad at other people's messes because we do not give ourselves permission to make a mess. When the reality is your destiny will only be as great as the messes you make. The more you mess stuff up, the better you get at everything, whatever that is you're working on. And if we give ourselves permission for that, God, yeah. When we learn from our messes, God cleans them up for us. When we get everything, we just soak up everything we can learn from that mess like a biscuit and gravy without judgment. Just go, wow, I sure effed that up, didn't I? Woo, look at that big old mess.
Look at that big pooper.
Yeah, that's a big old duty right there. Woo, proud of myself. That's amazing. I don't know how I'm going to clean that up. First thing you do is you give yourself a break and you say, you know what? I'm allowed to make, if the United States government can make the messes if these senators and presidents can make the messes they make, and these corporations, then I think we should all be able to make big messes. Right? Yeah. Dude. So, if we don't give ourselves a break or allow ourselves to make messes, we put so much, over responsible on self. And then it makes it almost impossible to forgive other people.
Well, the greatest lessons, the hugest, largest leaps in growth that I've experienced have been through the times when I fucked up. And the thing is that my intention was not to fuck up, but something fucked up. And the pain, the shame, the stress of the whatever that you go through, the guilt that you go through, those are all natural things that you go through when you mess up. But the growth from that, I can't even tell you how. I mean, it's like when you forgive yourself, you communicate and you come from your heart, but you forgive yourself for messing up. Oh my God. It is so incredible. And obviously you make sure that you don't perpetuate that and do it over.
That class again.
Right. The class has been done. Thank you very much. I learned a great deal. I don't need to go through that again. Right. But that's what I'm talking about, how it's just you leap so many levels. There's no levels. I hate to say there's no like up and down, but you know what I'm saying? You expand your understanding. Yeah.
Yes.
And you're more understanding of other human beings when they fuck up.
Yes. We get more empathy, more understanding, and our light body gets bigger and bigger.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you for saying that.
Light body bigger and bigger. Yeah, it's amazing. And the other thing though too is to take it then to flip it again. Oh my gosh, now my clock's 3:03. I just walked back in here. It's 3:03. So it's 2:20. It was 2:22 or no 2:02, 2:20. It was 2:20. Now it's 3:03. So taking it a step further, when you realize that the messes, quote unquote, that we make in our lives are almost always 88% of the time, sometimes more. The more conscious you are, that number even goes up from 88. Now, yes, for some people it goes down a little lower. But for the most part, in general, 88% of the time, every mess that happens in your life, you wrote into your movie. That's the soul evolution. And you literally, they always go, how low can you go? Because we literally want to fall and fall as hard as we can. You can only rise as hard as you fall. So as low as you go is as high as you'll go, always. As much joy as you can feel is directly related to the sadness you've allowed in your heart. Sadness, grief, sorrow, loss, they expand the heart. Now, worry, anxiety, that means that's a lack of trust for the universe, for this process, for life, for God, for self. So then you got to look at, where am I not trusting? Where am I nervous? Where do I have fear of the future? Where am I fearing failure? Where do I think I'm not good enough or not enough to do what I came here to do? And what is it that I came here to do? People say that a lot. Let's work on these emotions and then it'll be clear to you what you came here to do. But it's really funny. The universe will not show you what you came here to do. They'll show you in direct measure to what you're ready to do. Makes sense, right? But see, the universe makes sense. They're only going to tell us about our future as far as what we're emotionally ready to tackle. That's why working the emotions is the most important thing you'll do. You will, if you vibrate like your destiny, then you're going to get there. And so it's all about working this worry, anxiety, shame, blame, resentment, and guilt. And these emotions, this is really, oh my God, it's hysterical. But I was in the Kroger grocery store on the bread aisle, true story. In August, I was, and this is insane. It was the last time I made a major move from Memphis years ago. No joke. I was packing my house and I had to go to Kroger to get some food because they didn't have a kitchen. And I was on the bread aisle getting ready to move. And I heard Abba, Father God's voice in my head. And he said, sweetheart, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And he started to say it again. And I said, Daddy, I know that one. I said, what do you want me to know? And he said, in heaven, we do not entertain worry, anxiety, shame, blame, resentment, or guilt. He said, if you'll start doing that here on earth, he said, soon your life will look much like heaven.
Wow.
And I started that day, every day, I worked on one of those emotions. Worry and anxiety kind of go together, and I worked that one, I worked that one every day. I can honestly say now, and that was about almost 6 years ago, I can say after 6 years of work, people go, oh my God, 6 years of work. It's like learning to play instruments. You're playing songs along the way. You just get better and better at it. And you start to catch it. But I can honestly say it. I don't do a lot of worry right now. I do get frustrated when life seems like a struggle or gets hard, but I don't really worry anymore. And I got to tell you, it feels good. Oh my God. How do you do that? There's only one way to stop worrying. You got to trust, and you got to take big leaps, and you got to start speaking your truth in your relationship. Say what your heart really wants to say. I had a friend who's here helping me pack, and it's great because she'd said to me, she was talking about her mother-in-law had been staying with her, and they're looking for a new place to live. And so her mother-in-law said, well, let's look for one with the mother-in-law's house and the guest house in the back so I can live with you. And she was talking to me about it, and she's like, in my head, I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And I said, now check this out, because this is true. If you really want to get where you're going, you wouldn't have kept that in your head, because that energy is always there. When you're not telling the truth in a relationship, the truth is still there. You know what left the relationship? You did. You left the room, but the truth is still hanging out. This is why a lot of times we get paranoid in relationships. So please remember that, guys. If you're not speaking truth in your relationship, then you have no right to be resentful or mad or angry about it or anything, because you don't know that person, because they don't know you. So I said to her, she looked at me like, oh my God, well, I'm not just going to tell her like, hell no, I don't want to live with you. And I said to her, she already knows that you don't want to live with her. She's going to respect you more if you said something funny. You don't make it mean, but you go, oh, hell no. That's not going to, you can move 4 houses down, and I'll see her, but you're not going to live in my backyard. I love you, but.
Yeah.
And everyone in the room would have laughed.
Exactly.
Right? We got to start doing this year. That's how you repair the relationships in your life. If you'll speak your truth, they fix themselves. And if they don't, then you just literally say, okay, well, then that person goes. I've done everything I can. And the good Lord's going to bring me relationships that serve so much better, right?
Oh, what a perfect way to end the show on soul spring cleaning, Abby. Abby.
Estate cleaning. Get rid of it all, guys, and start over.
Yes, I love this. I think what you have just been unloading and given us today is just so fantastic. So, Abby, let's let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you, because I know a lot of folks might want to book a session with you. And how do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks again for having me on. I'm honored. And thank you, listeners, for being here with us today. You can go to abigailnoel.com. It's ABIGAILNOEL.com. And you can book there's a schedule a session page. You can schedule your own session there. And there's a donate button, because I do a special. There may be a key for it, but you can go to donate. I do a special for all Out of the Box listeners, and it's an introductory first-time session with me at $44, and that's for 45 minutes to an hour. It's most likely going to be an hour, because I'll talk your ear off a little bit as well. So,
it's an incredible $44. That's first of all, it's a wonderful magic number, but it's an incredible offering that you're giving people, Abby. So thank you so much. So folks, you want to go to abigailnoel.com if you want to book a session, check her out. Abby, thank you so very much again for joining me, my dear. I love and adore you. And I know you got a lot of packing and stuff to do for your move out to the West Coast. I want to wish you all the best on that as well.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward. It's good. It's like any move. It's a little bit crazy, but what move is not? So we're loading the truck today, and I think Friday morning I'll be on my way to California. Well, so thank you so much. And everyone, estate sale. Get rid of that junk. Book a session.
All right. Thanks so much, Abby. And I want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in today to Out of the Box Radio. Remember that if you want to make sure you never miss an episode, you can subscribe to Out of the Box Radio on YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio. And please tell your friends so that they can also hear some of these incredible guests, just like Abby and so many others that we have on every single week. Until next time, I want to remind you to always, always think outside of the box. Bye for now.